It's been a very emotional week for all of us. Barnesy and CT have been in the middle of some huge moments for this organization. Both guys have left an indelible mark on our culture and where we're at this point. So the decisions were incredibly difficult. The conversations were tough. But with where we are,
the Los Angeles Dodgers front office is cooking up something massive. And let me tell you, this could be the move that changes everything heading into their quest for a three-peat. An insider report just dropped that has the entire baseball world buzzing, and it involves a trade target that nobody saw coming, but makes absolutely perfect sense when you really think about it. This isn't just about filling one hole on the roster. This is about solving multiple problems with one surgical strike. And Andrew Friedman might be the only general manager in baseball brilliant enough to pull it off. We're talking about a player who can play literally everywhere, hit for average, get on base, and do all the little things that championship teams need. The kind of guy who doesn't make headlines, but makes winning possible. The kind of player the Dodgers have built their dynasty on for the past decade. And right now, with the winter meetings approaching faster than a Clayton Kershaw fastball, the rumors are heating up that Los Angeles is ready to pull the trigger on a deal that would send 3 legitimate prospects packing in exchange for one of the most versatile players in Major League Baseball. Bleacher Report just released their annual Winter Meetings Trade Proposals article, and buried in there among talks of Cole Regan and other big names is a Dodgers trade scenario that has me absolutely fired up. We're talking about St. Louis Cardinals utility extraordinaire Brendan Donovan, a 28-year-old Swiss Army knife who can play second base, third base, left field, right field, and basically anywhere else you need him except catcher and pitcher. The guy is a modern baseball miracle, and the Dodgers are reportedly very interested in making him the next great utility player to don the Dodger blue. Now, before you roll your eyes and say utility players aren't exciting, let me remind you of 2 names that should send chills down the spine of every Dodgers fan in the best possible way: Chris Taylor and Hernandez. These guys weren't supposed to be superstars when they arrived in Los Angeles. They were supposed to be depth pieces, insurance policies, the kind of players you use when your regulars need a day off. But under the Dodgers development system and with their positional flexibility, both became absolutely crucial to championship runs. Chris Taylor became a folk hero with his postseason heroics. Kick Hernandez turned into Mr. October and eventually earned himself a World Series MVP. And Brendan Donovan could be the next chapter in that incredible story. Let's talk about what Donovan actually brings to the table, because his stat line from this past season tells a beautiful story for a team like the Dodgers, who value on-base percentage and contact hitting. The man posted a .353 on-base percentage in 2024, drawing 42 walks, while striking out only 67 times in 468 at-bats. That strikeout rate is music to the ears of any hitting coach, especially in an era where the whiff rates are climbing higher every single season. Donovan collected 132 hits, batted .287, and showed the kind of plate discipline that fits perfectly into the Dodgers' analytical approach to building a lineup. Sure, his power numbers aren't going to blow you away. 10 home runs and 50 RBIs might seem pedestrian in today's launch angle-obsessed game, but context matters here. Donovan was batting near the top of the Cardinals' order, where his job wasn't to drive in runs, but to get on base and create opportunities for the guys hitting behind him. In a loaded Dodgers lineup where he'd be surrounded by Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Will Smith, Donovan's ability to set the table or provide a professional at bat in the middle innings becomes exponentially more valuable. You're not acquiring him to be your cleanup hitter. You're acquiring him to be the glue guy who does everything well enough that you trust him in any situation. The positional versatility is where things get really interesting, and honestly, it's what makes this trade make so much sense for the Dodgers' current roster construction. Tommy Edman is dealing with an injury that could potentially affect his availability at the start of the season. The outfield situation remains somewhat murky, with question marks about who fills out the corners. And while the Dodgers have options, None of them provide the certainty and flexibility that Brendan Donovan would bring. This is a guy who became the only player in the modern era since 1900 to start at 4 different infield positions in his first 4 career starts. Let that sink in for a second. 4 different infield positions in 4 games. That's not just versatility, that's elite level adaptability. In 2022 alone, Donovan played second base for 264 innings, third base for 109 innings, right field for 143 innings, and left field for 144 innings. He's continued that trend every single season since, maintaining defensive competence at multiple positions while producing consistent offensive numbers. When you have a player like this on your roster, it allows your manager to mix and match lineups, gives you insurance against injuries, and creates nightmares for opposing managers trying to set their defensive alignments. Dave Roberts would have a field day with the strategic options Donovan provides. Think about how this would work practically for the Dodgers. On days when they're facing a tough left-handed pitcher, Donovan could slide into left field, allowing them to shift other pieces around. When they need to rest Freddie Freeman or give him a day at DH, Donovan could handle first base duties. If Tommy Edman needs extra time to recover or isn't quite right to start the season, Donovan seamlessly steps into second base without missing a beat. And if Mookie Betts needs a day off from the outfield to preserve his legs, Donovan is standing right there ready to patrol right field. And this isn't just depth, this is strategic roster construction at its finest. His consistency with the bat is equally impressive when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture. Over his career, Donovan has posted batting averages of .287 in 2025, .278 in 2024, .284 in 2023, and .281 in his rookie season while playing 126 games. That's remarkably steady production, the kind of reliability that matters in a 162-game grind. While his OPS numbers might not jump off the page compared to the game's elite sluggers, his on-base percentage and batting average tell you everything you need to know. This is a professional hitter who competes in every at-bat, rarely gives away outs, and makes pitchers work for everything they get. So what would it cost the Dodgers to pry Brendan Donovan away from St. Louis? According to the Bleacher Report proposal, we're talking about a 3-prospect package that would include shortstop Emil Morales, right-handed pitcher River Ryan, and outfielder Kendall George. Let's break down exactly what the Cardinals would be getting in this hypothetical deal, because it's not insignificant. These aren't throw-in prospects or organizational filler. We're talking about real talent that represents genuine value. Emil Morales currently ranks as the Dodgers' number 7 prospect, and for good reason. In his stateside debut, this kid absolutely raked, hitting .314 with a .396 on-base percentage and a .515 slugging percentage. He smashed 24 doubles, launched 14 home runs, and drove in 70 runs in just 89 games split between rookie ball and single A. Those are video game numbers, the kind of production that has scouts salivating over his potential. Some analysts believe Morales could be a consensus top 50 prospect in all of baseball by summer. Yes, he's only in single A right now, which represents risk for St. Louis, but the ceiling is undeniably high. River Ryan is the number 9 prospect in the Dodgers system, and his inclusion in this package stings a little bit because we saw flashes of what he could become before Tommy John surgery derailed his trajectory. Without that injury, Ryan might have been contributing to the big league rotation this past season. He's got the kind of arm talent that makes you dream on future rotation stability, but as we all know, Tommy John surgery can fundamentally alter a pitcher's career arc. Some guys come back better than ever, while others never quite recapture the magic. That uncertainty is probably why the Dodgers would be willing to include him, but it's also why he's been mentioned in multiple trade scenarios this offseason. Kendall George rounds out the package as the Dodgers' 24th ranked prospect. He's an outfielder with tools that project to everyday potential if everything clicks. While he's not as highly regarded as Morales or Ryan, he represents the kind of lottery ticket that teams love in trades. Outfield prospects with athleticism and upside always have value, especially for a team like St. Louis that might be transitioning toward a more youth-focused approach after trading Sonny Gray to Boston already this offseason. Here's the million-dollar question. Would you make this trade if you're Andrew Friedman? 3 top 25s for a proven big leaguer with club control through 2027s and a projected salary around $5.4 million for 2026. The Cardinals would need to be genuinely motivated to move Donovan given his versatility and reasonable contract. But if they're entering a rebuild or retool phase, this package would give them 3 high upside pieces to build around. For the Dodgers, you're sacrificing future potential for present certainty, which is exactly what a team chasing a three-peat should be doing. The beauty of this trade is that it doesn't close the door on the Dodgers making other moves. They could still pursue a bigger outfield bat if the right opportunity presents itself. They could still add pitching depth or another bullpen arm. Acquiring Donovan doesn't limit their flexibility. It enhances it by solving multiple positional questions with one transaction. If they wanted to get really creative, they could use Donovan's presence to move another player in a different deal, creating a domino effect that upgrades the roster at multiple spots. And there's also something to be said about fit and organizational philosophy. The Dodgers have absolutely thrived with versatile players who embrace whatever role the team needs on any given night. Donovan's personality and approach to the game seem tailor-made for this environment. He's not a guy who's going to complain about playing time or demand a specific position. He just shows up, does his job, and helps his team win games. In a clubhouse that already features unselfish stars like Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts, adding another player with that mentality only strengthens the culture. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is Brendan Donovan the sexy, headline-grabbing acquisition that gets fans fired up on social media? Probably not. There won't be press conferences with flashbulbs popping and national media coverage like there would be if the Dodgers traded for Kyle Tucker or signed Cody Bellinger to a massive deal. But you know what? The Dodgers have built their dynasty on exactly these kinds of smart, under-the-radar moves that maximize value and address specific roster needs. This is the Andrew Friedman special, finding the market inefficiency that other teams overlook and exploiting it to perfection. Reports from about a month ago suggested that instead of chasing the big fish this offseason, the Dodgers might focus on plug-and-play type acquisitions that provide immediate value without surrendering the farm system. Well, Brendan Donovan is the textbook definition of a plug-and-play guy. He steps into spring training, learns the Dodgers systems and expectations, and immediately contributes wherever Dave Roberts needs him. There's no adjustment period, no figuring out how he fits. He just fits because that's what great utility players do. The timing of this potential trade also makes sense given the winter meeting starting up. General managers from all 30 teams will be in the same place, creating the perfect environment for deals to come together quickly. Phone calls turn into face-to-face conversations. Conversations turn into negotiations. Negotiations turn into trades. The Dodgers have always been aggressive at the winter meetings, and there's no reason to think this year will be any different, especially with the pressure to run it back after winning the World Series. One concern that some fans might have is whether acquiring Donovan means the Dodgers are punting on adding a true impact outfielder. I don't think that's the case at all. Donovan provides a safety net and positional flexibility, but he doesn't preclude the team from making a bigger splash if the right player becomes available at the right price. Think of him as the foundation that allows you to be more creative with other roster spots because you have someone who can fill multiple holes competently. His age is another factor working in the Dodgers' favor. At 28 years old, Donovan is right in his prime years as a baseball player. He's not some 33-year-old veteran hanging on or a 22-year-old prospect who might not develop. He's a fully formed big league player with years of high-level performance ahead of him. The club control through 2027 is gravy on top, giving the Dodgers cost certainty and roster stability for multiple seasons. And if everything works out beautifully, there's always the possibility of an extension to keep him around even longer, maintaining that utility presence that has served the organization so well with Taylor and Hernandez. The Cardinals' perspective in all this matters too. St. Louis has already signaled they might be willing to move established players by trading Sonny Gray. If they're genuinely committing to getting younger and building around their next core of talent, trading Donovan makes sense, even though it probably hurts to move such a valuable and versatile player. Getting 3 legitimate prospects back, including a potential top 50 guy in Morales, would absolutely help restock their farm system and accelerate whatever timeline they're working toward. There's something poetic about the Dodgers potentially trading River Ryan as part of this deal. Here's a guy who looked like he might contribute to their World Series run before injury intervened, and now he could be the piece that brings back the player who helps them win the next championship. Baseball has a funny way of creating those narrative threads that weave through seasons and careers. If Ryan goes to St. Louis and develops into a frontline starter while Donovan helps the Dodgers to another title, both organizations can walk away feeling like they won the trade. That's the beauty of deals involving young players with upside and established veterans providing immediate value. The three-peat chase adds urgency to everything the Dodgers do this offseason. Windows of championship contention don't stay open forever, even for organizations as well run as Los Angeles. Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman aren't getting any younger. The time to maximize this core is right now, not 2 or 3 years from now when prospects develop. Trading prospects hurts, especially when you're moving guys with legitimate star potential like Emil Morales, but championships are won by big league players, not minor leaguers. Andrew Friedman understands this calculus better than anyone, which is why I believe he'll be aggressive in seeking upgrades wherever possible. Brendan Donovan represents exactly the kind of upgrade that fits the Dodgers model. He's not flashy, but he's effective. He's not expensive, but he's valuable. He's not a superstar, but he's a winner. These are the characteristics that define championship role players, and when you add them to a roster that already has stars at the top, magic happens. Just ask Chris Taylor about his home run in the wild card game against the Cardinals. Ask Hernandez about his postseason performances. These guys weren't supposed to be heroes, but the Dodgers put them in position to succeed, and they delivered when it mattered most. So as we hurtle toward the winter meetings and the offseason really kicks into high gear, keep your eyes on the Dodgers and Brendan Donovan connection. This might not be the move that dominates SportsCenter or breaks the internet, but it could absolutely be the move that defines their 2025 season and beyond. Andrew Friedman has earned our trust with literally decades of brilliant roster construction. When he identifies a target, there's usually a very good reason. Donovan checks every box for what the Dodgers need: versatility, contact skills, on-base ability, defensive competence at multiple positions, reasonable salary, and club control. That's a unicorn in today's game. The question isn't really whether Donovan would help the Dodgers. Of course he would. The question is whether they value him enough to part with 3 prospects who all have a chance to become impact big leaguers. My gut says they absolutely would make this trade if St. Louis is genuinely willing to deal him. The upside is too significant, the fit is too perfect, and the timing aligns too well with their championship window. This is the kind of calculated risk that separates good front offices from great ones, and the Dodgers have proven time and time again that they're willing to be aggressive when they identify the right opportunity. Let's make this crystal clear. The Dodgers are not messing around this offseason. They want to run it back. They want to win again, and they're going to do whatever it takes to put themselves in the best possible position to succeed. Brendan Donovan might not be the name that generates the most excitement in the moment, but in October, when he's delivering a crucial pinch hit or seamlessly filling in for an injured player without the team missing a beat, nobody is going to care that he wasn't a headline acquisition. They're going to care that he helped deliver another championship to Los Angeles. So whether you're skeptical about giving up 3 prospects or you're all in on adding a proven veteran with elite versatility, the next few weeks are going to be absolutely fascinating to watch. The winter meetings always bring surprises, blockbusters, and unexpected moves that reshape the baseball landscape. The Dodgers are going to be right in the middle of all of it, aggressively pursuing every avenue to improve their championship roster. Brendan Donovan represents one very realistic and very smart avenue, and I, for one, hope Andrew Friedman pulls the trigger and brings him to Los Angeles. The Dodgers Digest will be covering every twist and turn of this developing story and everything else happening in Dodgers land this offseason. Make sure you smash that like button if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Donovan trade scenario. Drop a comment below and let me know whether you'd make this trade. Type T for trade if you'd send Morales, Ryan, and George to St. Louis for Donovan, or type P for pass if you'd rather hold on to those prospects. And definitely hit that subscribe button, because we've got wall-to-wall Dodgers coverage coming your way all off season long as the team builds toward their three-peat attempt. This is going to be one wild ride, and you don't want to miss a single moment. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you next time with more Dodgers content.